Countless black people were hung in trees, burned, tarred and feathered, shot, imprisoned, exiled for the Voting Rights Act. As soon as you peep their game, they attack. This week, the Supreme Court was back at it, and it looks like we're staring down yet another blow to black voting power in this country. Imagine that. We are the target. Again. Now, if you know your history, like I know my history, you know that the Voting Rights Act of 1965 was a major win for the civil rights era. It was meant to protect us from the racist voter suppression tactics that had been the norm for so long. But here's the problem. Over the past decade, this law has been slowly picked apart by the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court has been slowly growing more conservative. And this week, the justices heard a new case that could cut even deeper into our already fragile voting protections. So this all started with the state of Louisiana, which has a black population of about 30%. After the last census, the state was required to redraw its congressional maps. That's normal. But here's the catch. After a lot of legal back and forth, Louisiana was told it needed to create 2 majority black districts to fairly represent the state's black voters. Eventually they did. But then out of nowhere, a group of so-called non-black voters jumped in and said, hold up, we've got a problem with that. Mind you, not the black folks, not the legislature, not the court, but this group didn't like the idea of adding a second black majority district. So they took it to court, and now it's in front of the Supreme Court, because that's what happens when white folks get upset. What's wild is that we've been here before. Just 2 years ago, this same court, with Chief Justice John Roberts writing the opinion, upheld a very similar provision of the Voting Rights Act in Alabama. They said, yeah, if black voters are being packed into one district or spread out to dilute their power, that's not okay. That decision gave folks a little bit of hope. But now Roberts is acting like that case doesn't even matter, like it's not exactly the same, like it was a one-off. During arguments, the court's conservative justices made it pretty clear they were leaning towards limiting protections for black voters. Again, Justice Alito tried to argue that chasing partisan advantage isn't the same as using race. But come on now. In places like Louisiana, race and party are so tightly connected, you can't separate the two. Lawyer Nielsen, president of the NAACP's Legal Defense Fund, told the court straight up, we're talking about racially polarized voting that is above 84%. Translation, the vast majority of white voters in Louisiana simply don't vote for black candidates, no matter their party. This ain't just political, it's racial. But they don't want to admit that. And then we had Justice Barry Kavanaugh, the grapist, who cast the deciding vote in that Alabama case 2 years ago, come in talking about how race-based remedies like this shouldn't last forever. You're right, Brett. It should last as long as all of y'all are racist. But Nielsen reminded him, Congress didn't put an expiration date on this part of the Voting Rights Act. And more importantly, the 15th Amendment, the one that bans race-based voting discrimination, that's permanent because y'all can't be trusted. Ain't no sunset clause on that, because y'all have always been racist and you will always be racist. Justice Kagan asked the question that's probably on your mind right now. What happens if the court guts this part of the Voting Rights Act? Nelson didn't hesitate. She said it would be catastrophic, because it would. The reason we even have black congressional representation in the Deep South is because of these protections, people. If they get tossed, the map, literally and figuratively, gets a whole lot worse for Black folks. We've got to keep organizing, keep voting, keep fighting in the courts and everywhere else. We've got to keep showing up for each other, even when the system tries to shut us down. Keep your people informed and share this video with anyone who needs the information. This isn't just about maps, it's about power. And we know they don't give it to us. We have to take it by any means necessary. But you need to be educated on how the game is played. You need to be disciplined to play the game to win. And you have to have empathy for your brothers and sisters who don't yet know everything they need to know. I love you, Black man. I love you, Black woman. Knowledge is power, power to the people.